up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. We've been asleep for too long.
This culture is mainly a culture that is self-taught, self-sustained, and self-funded. And I call it Afro-New Orleans culture. Those words were by Donald Harrison Jr. And the reason we say it's Afro-New Orleans culture is mainly because this is probably the only African culture that you may not find in Africa because it's born right here in New Orleans.
Wake up, 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 wake up. We've been asleep for too long.
I am Chief Shaka Zulu, and I am a part of what we call the Black Masking Indians of New Orleans. Many of you may have heard it by the name of the Mardi Gras Indians, but that was a name that was given to us. It was not a name that we call ourselves. Unfortunately, we are a culture that live on oral traditions. And the danger in living on oral traditions is if you don't document your history, somebody may document that history for you, and that documentation doesn't have to be accurate. So now we're getting to the point to where we're starting to document our history. I've been a part of this culture for a long time now, I can say, and I have not really seen much about this culture that seems to be the accurate information. So it prompted me to start doing research on my own. And I didn't just stay in New Orleans with this research, because this culture is really a culture that comes from our existence as indigenous people of the land. Many people may say Native America, but when it refers to Louisiana, we have a very, very long history of existence on this land before this place was called America, or before Louisiana was a part of America. So I always relate this culture to the indigenous people. And I want to speak on that a little bit by saying that not all African people got here through the slave trade. Even though, contrary to what a lot of books will say, or what you have heard in many different mediums, but Africans have explored many parts of the world, not just Louisiana, many years before what we know as the transatlantic slave trade. You can go as far as Australia with the Aboriginal people, and you'll see presence and existence of our people being there many years before the slave trade. You can go as far as Mexico with the homage culture or the Yanga culture. And there's many books on it. It's not just my words. There's a book by Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, They Came Before Columbus. And he speaks about many of those existent Olmec statues and the culture that existed in Mexico many years before the slave trade. Louisiana wasn't exempt. You can go to Poverty Point, this northern Louisiana, and you'll see mounds. And mounds are just, to me, examples of pyramids that you'll find on the continent of Africa. So it's the same pretty much culture that you'll find here in Louisiana. And it also shows existence of us being present here in Louisiana many years before the transatlantic slave trade. So when it refers to the culture that we call the Masking Indians, or the Black Indians, that people may refer to as the Mardi Gras Indians, I can speak of why we started, when we started, and who are the cultural bearers of that culture that mask this tradition here today.